I recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
Yeah, that's my young boy.
big
right there.
hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying? Nas is like a god. Right?
The rap game just got flipped upside down because 50 Cent has officially gone nuclear. On the latest episode of Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe, Jim Jones took a bold shot at Nas, disrespecting a legend in front of millions. But the backlash wasn't just from fans. It was from 50 himself. And when 50 Cent drags someone, it's never subtle, never polite, and never without blood on the floor. Insiders say 50 didn't just clap back, he went straight for Jim Jones' pride, tearing him apart line by line in ways only 50 can. We're talking brutal words about Jim's credibility, his loyalty, and even his place in hip-hop history. And to make matters worse, the internet is already flooding with memes, screenshots, and so-called receipts proving 50 has been holding onto dirt about Jim for years, just waiting for the perfect time to strike. But here's where it gets even crazier. Shannon Sharpe himself got caught in the crossfire. That's right, the Hall of Fame NFL legend turned podcast king is now part of the drama, with fans accusing him of fueling the beef by letting Jim diss Nas unchecked, and the rumors swirling right now that 50 Cent is ready to bring not just Jim Jones, but anyone who cosigns his Nas comments into the battlefield. Twitter's in flames. TikTok detectives are breaking down every second of Jim's appearance, and fans are screaming that this could be the start of one of the ugliest feuds in years. The hip-hop universe has always thrived on conflict. But when you throw names like 50 Cent, Jim Jones, and Nas into the same arena, the result isn't just beef, it's a cultural earthquake. To understand why this Club Shay Shay moment has ignited such chaos, you need the full picture. Years of grudges, layers of history, and egos too big to stay silent. Jim Jones' reputation in the game, Jim Jones, Harlem's own, is no stranger to controversy. From the early Dipset era alongside Cam'ron and Juelz Santana, to his more recent ventures, Jim has built a reputation as both a hustler and a hothead. For decades, he's walked the fine line between being respected for his grind and ridiculed for his outbursts. Fans know Jim as the kind of rapper who will speak without filter, which is exactly what happened on Club Shay Shay. Sitting across from Shannon Sharpe, in a laid-back but high-energy conversation, Jim got comfortable. Too comfortable. The moment Nas' name came up, Jim leaned back, smirked, and delivered the now infamous diss. Nas, man, come on. Half these legends y'all put on a pedestal couldn't survive in today's rap climate. Y'all overrated them. It wasn't just the words. It was the tone, dismissive, mocking, dripping with disrespect. Why Nas matters here's why that line set the internet on fire. Nas isn't just another rapper. He's hip-hop royalty, a generational poet whose debut album Illmatic is still hailed as the greatest rap album ever recorded. He represents the artistry, the authenticity, and the legacy that hip-hop purists protect at all costs. So when Jim Jones dared to question Nas' relevance, it wasn't just a diss. It was a shot at the foundation of hip-hop culture. Enter 50 Cent, the Grim Reaper of rap beef now. Let's bring 50 Cent into the picture. If you know one thing about 50, it's this. He lives for moments like this. His career has thrived not only on music but on public feuds. Ja Rule, Fat Joe, The Game, Rick Ross. Even Jay-Z caught strays from 50's venomous tongue. 50 doesn't just clap back. He obliterates. He digs up receipts. He turns beef into theater. And the one thing he despises more than anything? Disrespect toward the legends he respects. According to insiders, 50 has always had a soft spot for Nas. Despite their occasional competitive tension in the early 2000s, 50 has publicly acknowledged Nas as one of the true gods of rap, which meant Jim Jones mocking Nas wasn't just casual trash talk, it was personal. Shannon Sharpe's role in the chaos and then there's Shannon Sharpe, a legend in his own right. Shannon has built Club Shay Shay into one of the hottest platforms for raw, unfiltered interviews. His strength. He lets his guests talk. He rarely interrupts. He gives them the space to reveal their truths. But in this case, that decision blew up in his face. The internet quickly dragged Shannon for letting Jim diss Nas without pushback. One fan tweeted, "Shannon knew better. He should have checked Jim right there. This ain't sports trash talk. This is hip-hop culture." Another defended him. "It's not Shannon's job to argue. He lets his guests talk. That's why we love the show." Regardless of intent, Shannon's silence became fuel for the fire, making Club Shay Shay the stage where hip-hop's latest feud was born. Why fans say this beef was inevitable? For years, tension has simmered between Jim Jones and 50 Cent. While they've never had a direct, all-out war, there have been digs, shade, and tension, especially around Dipset's complicated reputation in hip-hop. History.Jim has always carried a chip on his shoulder, fighting for respect while often feeling overshadowed by bigger names. And 50, he's the self-appointed gatekeeper of authenticity. Never afraid to remind rappers of their place, so when Jim took aim at Nas, fans weren't surprised that 50 was the first to drag him. In fact, many believe 50 had been waiting for an excuse to go after Jim, and this was the perfect opening. The internet connects the dots. Social media detectives quickly piece together an even juicier backstory in old interviews. Jim has criticized old head rap, calling it out of touch. 50 Cent has previously roasted Jim for his reality TV antics, saying he cared more about clout than bars.nas, while usually above the drama. Once threw subtle shade at rappers who chase fame over artistry, comments fans believe were indirectly aimed at people like Jim. Put all that together, and Jim's Club Shay Shay diss didn't just spark one feud. It triggered a triangle of tension between three major names. The stakes right now, this isn't just about words. It's about legacy, credibility, and who gets to decide what real hip-hop is in 2025. Jim Jones is fighting to prove he's still relevant, unafraid to call out legends. 50 Cent is defending the culture, dragging Jim to remind him there are lines you don't cross. And Nas. He hasn't spoken yet, but the silence is deafening, making fans wonder if the king is about to step down into the arena himself. The world thought Jim Jones' casual jab at Nas would just spark a few angry tweets, maybe some defensive comments from fans. But 50 Cent doesn't play small games. The moment that clip from Club Shay Shay started making its rounds, 50 locked in, and when he drags somebody, it's not about winning the argument. It's about ending the opponent's credibility altogether. 50 Cent's first strike hours after Jim's comments went viral. 50 took to Instagram with a post that was equal parts savage and surgical. He uploaded a side-by-side photo on the left, Nas holding a Grammy, standing tall as hip-hop royalty. On the right, Jim Jones caught mid-scene on Love and Hip Hop, looking disheveled during one of his infamous reality TV meltdowns. The caption, "Brutal. One built a culture. The other built storylines for VH1. Don't ever get it twisted." The internet lost its mind. In one post, 50 reminded the world of the contrast. Nas, the respected icon, versus Jim, the clout-chasing reality star. And fans ate it up. One fan commented, 50 just buried him with a picture. That's worse than a diss track. Another added, he's right though. Jim talking down on Nas is wild when he's never even been in the same conversation. The meme storm begins from there. 50 unleashed his favorite weapon, memes. He reposted old clips of Jim Jones' awkward interviews, his public fights, even viral bloopers from Dipset concerts. Each one was paired with captions mocking Jim's credibility. This, the man judging Nas, more worried about outfits than albums. The memes spread like wildfire. TikTok and Twitter turned 50's posts into compilations. with hashtags like number 50 vs Jim and hashtag NAS Defense Squad trending by the hour. And if 50's shade wasn't enough, fans started digging up Jim's old interviews where he stumbled through answers about hip-hop history clips that looked even worse in light of his Nas comments. Shannon Sharpe, caught in the middle. Shannon Sharpe, meanwhile, tried to stay neutral, but the internet wasn't letting him off the hook. Fans started spamming Club Shay Shay's comments. Shannon, you let this happen? Why you ain't check him? Protect hip-hop next time. You've got to defend the legends. The pressure grew so intense that Shannon addressed it briefly on Twitter. I let my guests speak. That's my platform. Doesn't mean I agree with everything said, but by then, the damage was done. His show had become the battlefield, and now he was dragged into the mess right alongside Jim. Jim Jones fires back. Jim, never one to back down, responded with a fiery Instagram live. Y'all acting like Nas? Untouchable. He's a legend. Yeah, but I said what I said. I stand on it. And 50. He always got something to say. Worry about your shows. Worry about your power bills. Worry about your TV ratings. The tone was defensive, but the words lit another fire. Fans immediately clipped alive and tagged 50 nonstop. And here's the first twist, 50's receipts. That's when 50 Cent pulled his first major twist. Instead of just clowning Jim, he dropped a bombshell nobody saw coming. 50 posted screenshots of what appeared to be old text. Messages between Jim Jones and an unnamed industry executive. The messages weren't confirmed, but the captions made them devastating. How you calling Nas overrated when you begging execs to put you on tours? The alleged texts showed Jim pleading for opening slots, name-dropping Dipset, and even allegedly shading Cameron behind his back. Fans went wild. Was it real? Was it doctored? Nobody knew for sure. But in the court of public opinion, 50 had already delivered the knockout blow. This man couldn't even headline his own tour, but got Nas' name in his mouth. 50 is playing chess, Jim playing checkers. Nas' silence becomes louder. While all of this exploded, Nas stayed silent. No interviews, no tweets, no comments. And somehow, that silence only fueled the chaos. Fans interpreted his quiet as power. The king doesn't need to respond when his soldiers are already handling the war. One fan wrote, Nas doesn't gotta say a word. 50 already doing the dirty work for him. Some even speculated Nas had privately given 50 the green light, whispering in his ear to handle it. Whether true or not, the narrative only added gasoline to the fire. Dipset caught in the crossfire, and then came the collateral damage. Cameron and Joel Santana suddenly found themselves dragged into the beef, with fans questioning whether Dipset would stand behind Jim or stay out of it. Cameron tried to brush it off with a joke, posting a photo of himself in a fur coat captioned, "Y'all be safe out here." But the internet wasn't buying it. Cam know Jim messed up. That's why he quiet. Dipset looking funny in the light right now? The drama wasn't just Jim versus 50 anymore. It was threatening to fracture old alliances and expose Dipset as divided. The audience turns on Jim by now. Jim's credibility was in freefall. Every attempt to defend himself only made him look weaker. Fans started dragging his discography, comparing his biggest hits to Nas classics. Ballin' was cool, but does it touch Illmatic? Stop playing. Jim had a summer. Nas had decades. The memes turned savage, with fans posting side-by-side comparisons of Nas accolades versus Jim's reality TV moments. It wasn't just a diss anymore. It was humiliation on a global scale. If fans thought the screenshots were enough to end Jim Jones' credibility, they were dead wrong. Because when 50 Cent smells blood, he doesn't stop at bruises. He goes for the knockout. And this time he didn't just clown Jim. He escalated the war into something so personal, so humiliating, that even the industry's biggest names were forced to pick sides. 50 drops the video, bomb late one night. 50 uploaded a grainy backstage clip to his Instagram. The video showed Jim Jones in what looked like a heated argument with promoters after a Dipset show. He was shouting, slamming his fist on a table, and most damaging of all, begging for a paycheck that hadn't cleared. In the clip, Jim yells, "Y'all can't do me like this. I need my money tonight." 50's caption: savage as ever. Nas gets Grammys. Jim gets bounce checks. Don't compare the two. The post went viral instantly. Within an hour, it had over 2 million views. Fans were stunned. Whether the clip was old or taken out of context didn't matter. The humiliation was complete. The internet goes. Nuclear memes flooded Twitter. Side by side of Nas performing at the Grammys versus Jim screaming at promoters. A photoshopped flyer reading "Jim Jones live payment pending." A fake GoFundMe screenshot captioned, "Help Jim get his back end check." Fans weren't just laughing, they were calling this the end of Jim's credibility. You can't diss Nas then get exposed like this. It's over 50 just retired him with one video. Shannon Sharpe reacts meanwhile. Shannon Sharpe finally addressed the chaos during a live taping, with a mix of frustration and disbelief. He admitted, "I didn't know that comment was going to turn into World War III. But hey, that's hip-hop. Y'all gotta stop blaming me for letting him talk. My show ain't scripted, but it was too late." Club Shay Shay was permanently linked to the scandal, and fans joked that Shannon had accidentally become the new Breakfast Club, where rap careers go to die. Celebrities picked sides. The reveal forced big names to speak up. Fat Joe said on IG Live, "Nas is family. Respect the legends, man." Jim out of pocket. Styles P tweeted, "Y'all can't front on Jimmy's hustle, but Nas is God level." Two different leagues. 50 Cent's power castmate Joseph Sikora Tommy chimed in, "50, don't miss. Y'all knew this was coming." But the most shocking? Cam single quotes Ron. The Dipset frontman broke his silence with a cryptic post. A single shrug emoji under a picture of Nas. Fans instantly speculated it was Cam distancing himself from Jim, refusing to go down with the sinking ship. Jim's desperate defense, Jim Jones went live again, looking visibly frustrated. He claimed the video was old, taken out of context. And part of 50's weird obsession with dragging people, that was years ago. "I handled my business." Promoters funny sometimes, but y'all act like Nas ain't never dealt with drama. "Stop playing with my name." But fans weren't buying it. Screenshots of his live were plastered all over Twitter with clown emojis. The narrative already cemented. Jim was begging while Nas was building. The shocking reveal, an old Nas connection. Then came the twist no one expected. A blog unearthed an old radio interview from years back, where Jim Jones himself praised Nas, calling him one of the greatest to ever touch a mic. The clip resurfaced at the worst possible time, showing Jim gushing about Nas' influence, the complete opposite of his dismissive Club Shay Shay diss. Fans erupted. "So which is it, Jim? He's overrated or he's the GOAT?" 50 didn't even need this one. Jim exposed himself. Even worse. Insiders claimed Nas himself had privately laughed at Jim's backtracking, telling friends, "It's funny watching people contradict themselves when the spotlight hits." Industry backlash major. Hip-hop blogs and podcasts began framing the feud as a cautionary tale. Disrespect the legends, and the culture will eat you alive. The Joe Budden podcast broke it down. Jim poked the wrong bear. 50 been waiting for this moment. And when you disrespect Nas, you disrespect everybody who built the foundation. Jim's finished. Charlemagne on The Breakfast Club called it the dumbest move of Jim's career, saying, "You don't pick fights with Nas, and you definitely don't pick fights that give 50 Cent a reason to drag you." The first fallout, the consequences started showing fast. Rumors swirled that a brand partnership Jim had lined up quietly pulled out after the scandal. A sneaker collab he teased on Instagram. Suddenly silent. Meanwhile, 50 was doubling down, posting daily memes, each more humiliating than the last. It wasn't just a feud anymore. It was an all-out career assault. The second 50 Cent dropped that backstage clip, the game shifted. It wasn't just a feud anymore. It was a spectacle. The culture wasn't watching from the sidelines. It was picking sides, throwing punches, and demanding blood. Twitter goes into meltdown by sunrise. Hashtags like hashtag 50Vs, Jim, hashtag NAS the GOAT, and hashtag Club Shay Shay mess were trending worldwide. Twitter became an all-out war zone. 50 just retired Jim Jones with memes alone. Don't even drop the diss track. Jim messed around and disrespected Nas. And found out. Nah, y'all hyping this? Jim's still a Harlem legend. Stop acting like he don't got hits. The divide was obvious. Some saw Jim as a casualty of his own mouth, while others tried to defend him as a product of 50's relentless bullying tactics. TikTok detectives at work on TikTok. Creators wasted no time. Entire compilations surfaced comparing Nas' legacy with Jim's controversies. Clips of Illmatic played side by side with Dipset reality show drama. Fans slowed down the backstage paycheck video, analyzing every detail like a crime scene. A viral skit mocked Jim applying to open for Nas concerts with 50 playing the role of HR. 1. Video racked up 8 million views in less than 24 hours. With the caption, "This is what happens when you speak on the wrong legend." Instagram comment sections explode. Every post on Jim's IG page became flooded with comments. "You're not even in the same bracket as Nas? Sit down, 50 made you the punchline of 2025. Harlem still loves you, but stop playing with legends." Meanwhile, 50's IG was thriving. His followers ballooned, every meme post hitting millions of views and racking up laughing emojis from fans and celebrities alike. Celebrities step into the ring, the industry couldn't stay quiet. Fat Joe doubled down on his earlier comments, saying, "Jim's my guy, but you can't ever play with Nas' name. Period." Styles P added fuel, tweeting, "This is like watching a car crash in real time. Painful, but you can't look away." Rick Ross slid in with shade at 50, writing, "He loved tearing brothers down. Same old Curtis." Even legends outside the rap game weighed in. Shaquille O'Neal posted a meme of himself DJing with the caption, "Playing Nas all day." No Jim requests. Podcasts and blogs, Feast podcasters had a field day on Drink Champs. NORE laughed for minutes straight when asked about the beef. "Jim should have known better, man. 50 lives for this. He gon' drag this until summer." The Joe Budden podcast called it career suicide, with Budden declaring, "Jim walked straight into the slaughterhouse. You don't diss Nas in 2025, and you damn sure don't invite 50 to the barbecue." Blogs ran with headlines like, "50 Cent turns Jim Jones into meme of the year. Is this the end of Dipset?" Nas' silence becomes legendary through it all. Nas said nothing. No tweets, no interviews, no cryptic posts. That silence only amplified his power. Fans interpreted it as the ultimate flex. When you're truly great, you don't need to clap back. Others speculated Nas was waiting, watching from his throne until the perfect moment to deliver a single, devastating line that would bury Jim forever. Nas not speaking is the loudest response. Kings don't argue with peasants. When Nas finally talks, it's going to be the nail in the coffin. The diss track rumor takes over, but the loudest conversation wasn't even about Jim anymore. It was about 50. The rumor of a diss track in the vault spread like wildfire. Twitter exploded with mock track list leaks. Track 1, Ballin' or Beggin'. Track 2, VH1 Bars. Track 3, Dipset or Dip Out. Fans begged 50 to release it, claiming it would be the death blow to Jim's career. Others warned it would go too far, potentially killing any chance of Jim bouncing back. But the hype was undeniable. If 50 actually dropped new music aimed at Jim, it wouldn't just be another diss. It would be an event. Dipset fans' fight back Jim wasn't completely alone. Dipset loyalists, especially from Harlem, flooded timelines defending him. Y'all forgetting Jim kept New York alive at times? Don't erase his legacy over one interview. 50 always clowning, but Harlem don't play. Jim got soldiers too. but their voices were drowned out by the tidal wave of memes and ridicule. The court of public opinion had already decided Jim was losing by now. Jim Jones was bleeding credibility from every angle. 50 Cent had roasted him with memes, humiliated him with receipts, and buried him with that backstage video. The industry clowned him, fans dragged him, and even Dipset's silence spoke volumes. But just when the culture thought it had seen everything, the story took a turn nobody could have predicted, and it was Nas himself at the center of it. The whispered verse for days. Rumors swirled that Nas had privately recorded a response. At first, it sounded too wild to believe. Nas doesn't move like that. He's above petty beef, right? But then a snippet began circulating, a muffled 17-second clip allegedly leaked from a studio session. In the grainy audio, you could hear Nas' unmistakable voice spitting. "Y'all ballin' on credit, I've been cashin' respect. Legends don't respond, but this crown's stay on my head." The internet lost its collective mind. Was it real? Was it A? Nobody could confirm. But if it was genuine, it meant Nas had finally descended from his throne to fire a warning shot at Jim Jones. 50 Cent fans at Fueland, who posted the snippet first. A fan page dedicated to 50 Cent that only made the theories wilder. Did 50 leak it himself? Did Nas send it privately, knowing 50 would weaponize it? Or was this all part of some bigger plan, a coordinated hit on Jim Jones' reputation? Either way, the narrative shifted. Suddenly, Jim wasn't just dealing with 50's relentless trolling. He was potentially staring down a lyrical bullet from one of the greatest MCs of all time. Jim's silence speaks volumes. For the first time since the drama began, Jim didn't go live. He didn't post memes. He didn't fire back. His Instagram went quiet, his Twitter untouched. Fans smelled fear. Jim realized he poked the wrong giant. Silence is the sound of defeat. 50 dragged him. But Nas finished him. The louder Jim stayed quiet. The more the culture decided he'd already lost. The industry braces for impact behind the scenes. Insiders whispered about tension building in Harlem. Dipset associates allegedly urged Jim to backtrack publicly before Nas officially responded. But pride is a heavy thing. And Jim's entire career had been built on never backing down. Meanwhile, labels, promoters, and even brand partners were rumored to be pressing pause on business with Jim until the smoke cleared. In an industry where perception is everything, he was radioactive. The final bombshell then came the revelation that turned this feud from explosive to legendary. According to a well-placed insider, Nas hadn't just recorded a stray verse. He'd allegedly been in talks with 50 Cent about collaborating, not on a diss track, but on a joint project celebrating hip-hop's longevity. If that collab became reality, it wouldn't just overshadow Jim, it would bury him. Because what's louder than one legend defending himself? Two legends joining forces to show the culture where the real power lies. The rumors spread like wildfire. 50 and Nas plotting in the shadows, using Jim Jones as the spark to unite their forces. Fans reacted instantly. If 50 and Nas drop anything together, Jim Jones might as well retire. This went from beef to history in the making. We're witnessing a career funeral live, and that's where things stand right now. Jim Jones, once confident enough to dismiss Nas on Club Shay Shay, now drowning in memes, humiliation, and the looming shadow of two of hip-hop's most dangerous forces, 50 Cent and Nas. A backstage meltdown video, screenshots that may or may not be real, and now whispers of a Nas verse so sharp it could slice straight through Jim's legacy. But here's the real question. Is Jim Jones the victim of 50 Cent's relentless trolling machine? Or did he dig this grave himself the moment he decided to put Nas' name in his mouth? And let's not forget Shannon Sharpe. Did Club Shay Shay just cement itself as the hottest platform in the culture? Or did Shannon's silence give Jim enough rope to hang himself? Even more, what about the nuclear rumor? Nobody can ignore the possibility of a 50 Cent and Nas collaboration dropping soon. If that actually happens, does Jim Jones have any way to respond? Or does it officially erase him from the conversation forever? I want to hear from you. Drop your take in the comments right now. Are you hashtag Team 50, standing with the King of Petty, the undisputed master of hip-hop warfare? Are you hashtag Team NAS, reminding everyone why legends deserve eternal respect? Or are you still hashtag Team Jim, believing Harlem's sun can rise out of the ashes and fight back? Flood the comments. And don't just stop there. Smash that like button if you believe NAS. Silence has already spoken louder than any diss track ever could. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because if 50's diss track leaks, or if NAS actually drops that verse, you know this channel will have the breakdown first. This war isn't over. The memes were just the beginning. The verse could be the ending. And when the next bomb drops, it won't just be another headline, it'll be history. Another headline, it'll be history.